there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Carrie with bluescitypickin, and if you are new here, I am a part-time reseller who goes around to thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales, and finds things that I attempt to flip for a profit on eBay. You will see that in some cases I did not in fact flip them for a profit on eBay this particular week. That's okay, right? I think I've mentioned in the last few videos that I am cleaning out old inventory. And so if I make $5 on eBay versus $4 at Plato's, and a lot of things I've clearanced out on the clothing side, Plato's did not accept. I'm okay with that. The one downfall I experienced this week was I sold something that I was clearancing out for $10, and I do have free returns turned on in my closet, and they returned it. I'm like, you paid $10 for this. And so I'm going to now lose money because they're returning it. So I had a impulsive decision to turn off returns on items that are $15 and below. Because I've had more issues with things that are low dollar being returned and me losing money on them than things that are higher dollar being returned. So I'm going to try that out. So far, this is Sunday. I think I turned it off on Tuesday of last week, and I haven't seen an issue with my sales. I know it does impact your fees. So I'm going to do some numbers on that after a week or two and see how much of an impact it has actually made. And then we will go from there. Got to check something real quick. Sorry, my computer's being fussy with me today. All right, so this is what's sold number for August 11th through the 14th, so 4 days. This is Ching number 57. Can't believe we're already at 57. That's how many weeks? No, I've been doing it for less weeks than that. I've been upping my number of Chings because I've had a lot of things selling with the clearancing out, so I've been doing 2 a week. So this week I had these 4 days I had $1,200 in sales. That's amazing. That is that gross sales number. I had $1,000 in what the buyer and I agreed upon. Excluding shipping and taxes. I had almost $300 into these items. And so profit was $540.70. What I will tell you though is about 120 of that, 125 of that is actually going to my mom. One thing was something that she sold out of her personal collection, and then another thing was something that we sold for the charity that she helps support called Golden Cross. It's seniors. I think it's in the Methodist ministry for seniors. So she supports that. And so I help them out by selling things online sometimes. And I had one of those as well. I had 30 orders and 30 items sold. My average profit for this week was $18.02, which is amazing. I had 21 bread and butter items and 9 like nice profits, where the average profit for each of those was almost $50. So you'll see what was going on here. Sold a couple of folk art pieces, sold a couple other really nice things as well, including that one piece of jewelry for my mom. The minimum time that my margin was 54.2% this week, which I'm okay with. When you talk about some of the folk art I sold, I paid up for it, but because of the profit that it's bringing, I am okay with paying up for it and then doubling my profit on some of those larger investments. I sold 2 of my Moe's tea items this week, which was great. Now, did I get as much as like if I sat on them for another 6 months? No, but I have a pretty significant investment into this art, and I want to make sure that I'm not being silly about it and sitting on it because it's not like a high demand item. We need to keep it moving. So 54.2% on margin is great. My shortest tail list was 8 days, maximum was 448 days, and that is one of the things I lost money on. And the average was 165 days, which is higher than my norm, but once again, clearancing things out. Let's go ahead and get into this. The first thing that sold was a Tilly Endurables gray wool winter hat. It had fold up flap ears. It was a size 7 1/4. I paid $1 for this at the bins back in June. It sold for $20, and so I made $16.77 after 59 days. Next is a municipal sport hooded sweatshirt, pink, size extra large. One of my friends actually gave me this. She was cleaning out her son's closet. She knows that I have a lot of kids, and so my kids went through the bags that she gave me, and then she told me to just sell the rest. And I said, okie dokie, so I have nothing into this. I had an offer for 19 and I accepted that, and so I made $14.99 after 304 days. Really trying to get rid of some of my bulkier items. I have a bunch of jackets that need to sell this year, otherwise I'm going to have to clearance those out. I've gotten rid of a few of the bigger sweatshirts, hoping that moving into the winter season those will move on out. Next is an Atari memory card replacement piece. I had $1 into this from a Whatnot auction back in December of 2024. It sold for $9.24, so I made $7.58 after 242 days. Next is an Authentic Disney Parks 2022 mini ears. These were lime green. Came out of one of my daughter's closet cleanouts, so nothing into these. Sold for $9.60, and so I made $8.88 after 37 days. Next is a vintage Christmas troll. It was a candy cane outfit with red hair. I paid 50 cents for this as a yard sale last November. I would not pick this up again. It finally sold for $4, and so I made $1.81 after 266 days. Or if I did buy it, I would lot it up with some other similar type items, but I don't think I would pick that up. Another thing I would not pick up again, I have had a really hard time selling Kate Spade purses. I have 3 or 4 of them. I did pay a little bit more for them because when I was checking comps, at the time when I purchased them, they appeared to be doing well. My nose is super red. Talk about distracting. Nice. And they're just not selling. So now I'm just trying to get my money back, recoup that, and then put it into something that I think is going to sell for more. And so this was a really pretty robin's egg blue mini crossbody. It sold for I paid $13.62 from this from a regular Goodwill back in February. I think I sent out an offer for $23.96, and so I made $4.69 after 163 days. Another one that I let go for a lot less than what I had it listed for, but I just bought it, and I'm like, let's go ahead and move this on. This is a Ralph by Ralph Lauren Y2K red. It was like an orangish red baby doll sweater. It had a lace collar, a little tie, very much. Y2K. I paid $1 for this at an estate sale back at the beginning of July. I got an offer for 10, and I made $7.32 after 29 days. Next is one of my folk art sales of the week. This was a Moe's Tea red snake on wood. It was long but very thin. I had $75.73 into this. It sold for $175, so I made $73.18 after 11 days. So doubling my money there, and that was great to me. Next up is a thing that for the Golden Cross. This was a vintage signed hand-carved duck mallard on wood. Nothing into it. Got an offer for $8. It has been listed for 338 days, so I went ahead and accepted that, and we've got $5 for charity. Next is a Ducks Unlimited hat. This was camo mossy oak. I had $1 in this from the bins back at the beginning of June. It sold for $8, and so I made $4.43 after 62 days. Next is the first thing I lost money on this week. This is a pair of Tony Llama boots. I believe these were going international, so I don't really have to worry about them coming back. I paid $11.99 for these at Goodwill back in January. What I didn't realize when I purchased them is that one of the heels had rub on them, like a wear, significant wear on it. And so I got an offer for $11.20 and I accepted it. I lost $3.40 after 279 days, but they were big. They were not getting attention. They were not getting offers. So we went ahead and moved those out. Next is another one of my better sales for the week. I actually picked this up at the bins back in April. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous aquascutum. Aquascutum. I don't know how to say that. You can see it in the words. It was a wool camel brown long women's coat. It had been sold at Harrods in the UK. If you are familiar with that store, you know it is a high-end store. It was a size 8 vintage, so measurements were in there. I paid $2.55 for this with my average cost of goods that day. It sold for $63.20 and I made $47.80 after 109 days. The message said it was going to be used in a wedding, and so congratulations on your wedding. So excited that this is going to find a new home there. Next item is something that came out of a large auction buy that I did for a steel case desk and all of its things that were with it. I was about to pull these not too long ago, but I left them listed for some reason and it's fine. So it was a lot of 3 Firestone Cash for Suggestions pencils. I don't know what I did here. The shipping must have been overpriced on it. Buyer paid $4.80. Nothing into it. I made $8.21 after 414 days. The shipping was probably where I made a little bit of money on that one. Next item is another really good sale. This was a Sundance women's winter sky blue ribbon applique dress. It was an extra large, so great size. Had an overlay on it. I picked this up at a regular Goodwill back at the beginning of August for $7.33. I got an offer for $40, which I went ahead and accepted and made $32.92 in 10 days. The reason I went ahead and accepted that and didn't wait on it is we are starting to move out of the summer season where people are going to be looking for this type of style and dress. So I just went ahead and moved that out. Next item is another good sale. This was a 1975 Ideal Mousetrap game. It was complete. It was missing the rules and 2 of the mice. I paid $4 for this at a church sale back in March. It sold for $23.16, and so I made $21.01 in 120 days. Another thing I probably won't pick up again in this condition. This was an Innova Raven double circle red disc golf disc. I paid $1 for this at the bins back in July. It sold for $8, and so I made $5.07 after 36 days. Next up is another Moe's Tea item. I paid $113.59 for this. This is a watermelon folk art. It was a triangle. He's pretty well known for his watermelon prints. So I went ahead and snagged this one in the auction. The buyer offered, or I think I had it on 20% off. And so the buyer paid $239.20 and I made $90.56 after 17 days. So didn't quite double my money on that one, but it would have taken me a lot to make $90 on something else. So very happy with that return. Next is an Ann Taylor dress. It was a size 10. I paid $3.07 for this back in March of 2024 at a regular Goodwill. This was on clearance. It sold for $8. And so I made $2.95 after 434 days. Another item that was on clearance, A Tale of Two Sundances. So the Sundance dress sold for $40. This Sundance pink paisley Henley waffle knit thermal shirt I paid $2 for this at a yard sale back in September of 2024. I got an offer for $5 and I said bye-bye. And so I made $2.56 after 324. I am sure that it was the size that damaged the sale on this one. I will not be picking up a petite small in Sundance anymore. It was probably the style and the size, and we're just going to pass on that going forward. Next item is a leather designer dupe crossbody purse saddle bag. I did buy this thinking it was real. I listed it. It got taken down by eBay, which is totally fine. I did some more research, and there were a couple things that gave concern. So I kept it and I used it. I think I used it myself for about 6 months. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and sell it because I have other really nice leather bags. I did pay $25 for this at a regular thrift store locally it was probably last summer of 2024. Somebody offered me 20. I just went ahead and accepted it. So I lost $8.60 on it after 8 days, but really I got my money back. I used it for 6 months. I consider that a break even. Next item is another piece of folk art. This is an African folk art handmade adungu 6-string antique bow harp. I picked this up at the bins for $1. It just looked really interesting. When I fiddle farted around with it a little bit at the bins, I figured, hey, for $1 cost of goods back in May, it sold for $31.20, and so I made $24.37 after 84 days, and I could not be more happy. And then here's another one I lost money on. This is a free assembly 100% cotton women's pink cable knit crew neck sweater. I paid $3.99 for this at Goodwill back in May of 2024. I got an offer for $5 and I said adios, and I lost $1.16 after 448 days. But it's gone. I got most of my money back, and pretty sure Plato's would not have taken that. Anyway. All right, next up is something I will not pick up again as well. This is a Joseph A. Bank black leather men's belt. Joseph A. Bank just does not sell like some of the other leather belts. If you find Ralph Lauren, Brighton, Coach, Tony Lama, Nakoma, like a leather belt is a good find. This one just was not it, apparently. I paid $1.48 for this at Goodwill back in March. Got an offer for $5.50. I went ahead and accepted that and made $1.89 after 133 days. There had been very little to no attention on this belt, so I just went ahead and said goodbye. Next is a lot of 4 original manufacturers Atari replacement parts. These were crystals. I don't know what they are. I had the part number on the bag and I took pictures. I had $1 into these from a Whatnot auction last December. They sold for $7.20, so I made $4.34 after 229 days. I am so in the profit on that, it's not even funny. So I'm happy with whatever I get on what's left to sell. Next up is the item that I sold for my mother. This is a John Hardy 18 karat gold and sterling silver dot slide open locket. It was pretty. It had a lot of wear. So I accepted an offer on her behalf for $150, and so she made $120 after 178 days. Next item is a vintage Precious Moments Friendship Garden Christie doll. I picked this up for $1 at Goodwill at the end of July. Got an offer for $12 that I accepted, and so I made $8.21 after 8 days. Next is a Vera Bradley lunch bag. Will not pick this up again. I paid $1.48 for this at the bins in March. It sold for $6.36, so I made $3.05 after 132 days. Next are a couple older things moving out as well. The next item is a pair of Nike Air 2018 UNC, so North Carolina Tar Heels men's shoes in a size 10 and a half. I usually do pick up the Nike specific like college team shoes. For some reason, these have sat since January of this year. I did pay $11.64 for them, so I did pay up, but they sold for $39.16 and I made $21.71. So happy with that return. Next is something I'm not as happy with the return on, but I'm glad it's gone ahead and found a new home. This is a Pioneer Woman red stoneware lattice bread basket. It was an oblong rectangle. I paid $4.26 for this at the regular Goodwill back in February. Got an offer for $23 that I accepted, and so I made $12.80 after 157 days. And then last but not least, something else I won't be picking up again. This is a pair of red clogs. Clogs. They are clogs, but they're Crocs. I picked these up at the bins, and this day I had a $2.55 cost of goods. If I could get them for $1, I would probably pick them up, but anything more than that is just not worth it. This was a women's size 8, a men's size 6. Nice classic Croc. Sold for $8, and so I made $2.76 after 103 days. Let's see. For Goodwill was about 34% of my profit. Auctions about 32%. That's those two most tea items. My parents 22%, and then the rest was kind of spread. As far as the genres of where I made my money, clothing was about 50%, household items, and the clothing includes shoes and accessories, so like jewelry and things like that. The household, including kitchen decor, which would be the most tea paintings, was 42%, and then toys at 7%, which is really low for me, but that's all right. Made a good amount of money this week. I am just completely ecstatic with the results this week. I think they're fantastic, and it just shows that if you keep being consistent, you do the work, and you're willing to be, I mean, I could get emotional about some of these things, but I'm trying not to, that you can start to optimize what you've got left. I will always have bread and butter items in my store. I just feel like it's a more approachable way to have a balance, because right now this is Sunday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I just packaged up 15 things that have sold over those 3 days, and all of them are bread and butter. So you're talking like $5 to $15 in profit on every single one of them. I don't think there's a single one, maybe one thing that I'm going to make more than $15 on, but 15 of those things for bread and butter, and it just is what it is, right? That is the part of reselling. I mean, I haven't seen a single person that resells that doesn't have some of that stuff in their store, and if they don't, it's because they're able to liquidate their inventory that is less valuable in other ways, either via live selling, flea markets, garage sales, or something like that. So if you're not like that and you're more of a part-timer like me and you don't mind spending a few minutes to get something listed to make a $5 bill, then you and I, we're going to be friends, because I wouldn't leave a $5 bill on the ground. I would stand there for a few minutes and pick up a $5 bill. So I hope you would too. If you like this kind of content, I would genuinely appreciate a like and subscribe. Marching towards 1,000 subs. I'm thinking the giveaway will probably be that you can go into my store and find something for, let's say, $30 or less. And I will ship it to you for free in the US. I think I'm gonna have to do US only at this point, but I will let you know if that changes. So give me a like, give me a subscribe, and comment down below. How's your summer going? Are you seeing some nice sales or not? I'm happy so far. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.